and welcome back to Granted Gardens. My name is Melissa, and today I want to talk a little bit about a happy place. I think it's super important to have a happy place. I think that having somewhere to go to get away from things and get your mind off stuff is necessary. For me, that's 100% the garden, and right here, my home. I love my home. I think that there's a lot of people in life that try to find their happy place and find it in things that they think make them happy, but make them happy for a short period of time. We started YouTube about 3 or 4 years ago now, and the idea of having a YouTube channel was designed for us to be able to share our journey of, at the time, was gardening. Just a passion that we had. We didn't really know what it was going to look like or what it was going to turn into. But we knew that it was something special to us and we wanted to document it. And so we did. And looking back now from where we are at that time in our lives when we decided that we were just going to do this and we were going to try and make it work and see what it turned into, my expectations were not this. I don't really know what my expectations were. I think that essentially like my biggest expectations were to just learn how to grow my own food, and I wanted to document that and share that story with people. It's something I'm passionate about, for you to be able to have control over certain things in your life, and food is a very important one to have. There's no secret, I also love eating. I love food, I love homemade meals, I love eating something different every single day. That's important to me, and so that was also kind of a part of this whole YouTube journey. Now, some things that I wasn't expecting when we started. I wasn't expecting to have such a variety of gardens. I wasn't expecting to have such a variety of plants growing. I knew the basics, tomatoes, onions, peppers, but I had no idea that you could grow things like kiwis or bananas in our zone in Maryland. So we've learned a lot. We're still learning a lot of that as well. I knew about things like blackberries, but I never thought of like growing them on purpose. They were something that kind of just grows naturally here. And I had eaten fresh off of the bush a million times, but I also didn't expect to start into a whole different journey of learning not only about what you can grow, but how to use it. I wasn't expecting to do chickens. Chickens was something I did not think we would ever have, and that happened, so I love them. I loved my home, don't get me wrong. When I first moved in here, I was very excited about making it my own, and that to me very much looked like painting the walls. That was my way of customizing things. I had no idea that I would ever branch out into creating like an entire oasis on such a small property. I used to always have this concept in my head, this yearning to create a yard, and that was, in the best way that I could really explain it, was to have an interactive backyard. I kept saying that over and over to my friends and family, like, I want an interactive backyard. Like, that was just what my goal was, but I had no idea what that looked like or what that meant. After doing a lot of research, I learned the concept of the term protege garden. That, when I saw pictures, really resonated with me. That's kind of where my heart was set, was a protege garden. And if you're not familiar with it, essentially, my best way to explain it is that it's a garden, obviously, but it's grown from a very artistic standpoint. It's kind of like a hodgepodge of both garden decor and different kinds of plants. And that was something that I thought was beautiful. But the more that I looked into it, the more that I really had a deeper passion for taking it even further than just the beauty. This right here is my cottage garden behind me, so it is still very much in the beginning stages so far this year, but this will fill in, and this was kind of my attempt at creating something that was visually stimulating, but quite frankly, it doesn't have that much purpose other than just looking pretty. From there, I started getting into the concept of edible landscaping, which I think is still very much where my heart resides. The concept of not only beauty, but functionality. Here I have my blueberry bushes. This was probably my first purposeful move as far as having edible landscaping. We had this space here along the fence line of our neighbor's house that had nothing along it, and I struggled for years trying to figure out what to put over here. A big part of me was saying trees, but at the same time I did not want to block out what sunlight we have, because our front yard tends to be one of the sunnier spaces, especially in the afternoon, because we get to watch the sunset over this hill here, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's one of our favorite places to be, and I didn't want to disrupt that. The thought of putting bushes over here had never crossed my mind. But again, even if I had thought of a bush, an edible bush would not have come to mind. When these blueberries came up, this was when I knew I had to jump on it, and I knew this is exactly where they belong. It does add a lot of beauty to this side of the yard, but it also adds functionality. And each of these berry bushes, blueberry bushes, are not only offering an addition to the landscape from a curb appeal standpoint, but they also have a purpose, and it's something that I've learned how to utilize these berries so that we can eat them all year round. Here is our newest addition. This is my clothesline. So excited. So the clothesline was something that I've wanted for a really long time. Not necessarily because it solved any issues. Obviously I have a dryer that works just fine, thank goodness, but there was just something sentimental. There was just something romantic and nostalgic about being able to hang my clothes and my linens to dry in the breeze and in the sun, and it's something that I've always wanted to do, and now I finally have that ability. What else is nice is it doesn't necessarily take away from the landscape. It's not an eyesore. This section of the house is right on the side of the house. Obviously our big garden is right behind me. This side of the house didn't have anything, and oftentimes it just felt like it was wasted space. We've tried planting stuff over here, it doesn't make it. There's actually a lot of concrete on this side as well. So we were struggling with what to put over here and how to best utilize this space, and it has just gone completely unused for such a long time. This is Tyler's food forest section, obviously. Again, this was one of his ideas that he came up with entirely on his own and has made it thrive. This is something I never thought I would have. We have kiwis, elderberries, I think there's a goji berry in here somewhere, lots of comfrey down here at the bottom, which we use for fertilizer. And down here is really where my dream comes into play. This is the main garden that we have built over the years that has brought me so much joy. This is really where I started to learn and understand what my heart was singing to me when it said an interactive backyard. At the beginning, I really could not figure out what that meant. I knew that's what I wanted, but I didn't know how to implement it. And as we've started this journey and continued it, I've realized that that's what my heart wanted. I wanted something that I could decorate a little bit that would look nice. So you can see, obviously, I've got my garden tchotchkes, but something that served a purpose and something that brought me out into this space on a regular basis. Finding and having your happy place can be such a life changer. Somewhere to go to get away when things get tough. Somewhere to go to release any kind of frustration or negative energy that you've been carrying with you for the day. But what's so special about mine is that it is interactive. It does not just look beautiful, but it calls me to visit each and every day. There's always something that needs to be done, a plant that needs tended to, some soil that needs amended, chickens that need fed, a greenhouse that needs cleaned out. There's always something here that calls me to come and touch it, and to spend time with it, and to look at the details. And in those moments is when I genuinely find an appreciation for life. This is what fulfills me. This is what makes my heart sing. This is my happy place. I cannot believe how these strawberries just came back with a vengeance this year. Look at that. My goodness. Those will all be strawberries here very soon. These are the 2 new garden beds that we put in last weekend. I do have onions planted in here. Somebody has been dancing around in here. But it doesn't look like they've dug anything up. It just looks like they were dancing. Finally going to be doing something over here on the side of the greenhouse this year. So I'm working on this bed right behind me that's alongside the greenhouse. I'm planning on planting all of my picking flowers there. So I've got quite a variety of flowers going this year. And so I'm hoping to line this whole side of the greenhouse with beautiful flowers that we can clip from throughout the summer and put in fresh bouquets for the house. I won't even show you the inside of the greenhouse yet because it's pretty bad. But we're getting there. It is on the to-do list. Right here, we've got a new little plant, which you can see we've got some buds going on. There's one on the other side over here as well, and those are cherry bushes. We were visiting Tyler's parents for Easter, and his mom, as always, has garden magazines sitting out on their coffee table. But we were flipping through one of their gardening magazines, and they had these cherry bushes on sale, and so I ordered 2. And what's really cute, like, they're gonna fill out, they're gonna get pretty thick, and they end up getting kind of covered in these beautiful white flowers, and then they turn into cherries, so they're pickable and edible. So I'm excited to have those added here. And then we have the rest of the berry bushes, blackberries and raspberries along the side of the greenhouse as well. I was planning on moving them into some of the spaces in the back, but I'm thinking I might leave them there for now. Look at this space. It doesn't look like much, does it? So this is obviously the space right behind the chicken coop. We've got these 2 big trees here. There's not much that grows back here other than poison and a little bit of grass. But I've always really wanted to do something special with this space. So for the longest time, I was looking for a bench to put back here, which I found, sort of. I got this one from Free Cycle, but it very much feels like it is on its last leg. I don't know how much longer it's going to last. You have to sit very carefully and ensure that you do not fall through. I do love this space, and so I think what my goal is this year, I have some extra leftover bags of mulch that I think I'm gonna just cover the space with weed fabric and mulch over top of it, and just see if we can make this a little bit more of a usable space. But isn't this beautiful? I love this. And look at this view. It's so peaceful to come back here and just hang out with the chickens. And it's in the shade, so in the summer when it's really hot, it just feels so cool and cozy back here. You get a nice view of the yard. So I'm gonna wrap this up short and sweet, but I really just wanted to spend some time talking to you guys today about finding your happy place. And if in your heart it screams garden, chase that dream. Chase it no matter where you are. No matter if you know what it's gonna look like at the end of the day or you don't have a clue what it's gonna turn into. Chase it, because I guarantee you it'll turn into something beautiful. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to sharing more with you soon.